Greetings, it's Dr. Jeffrey Scott. This is my Market MRI Pro update for September 2nd, 2025. I just titled it Welcome to September. This is the month of volatility. This is the worst month in the year. And the question was today a bear trap or the beginning of something more ominous? Email marketmripro@gmail.com, Google Group Top Down Trader. My uh, ask of you is simple. If you're new, hit subscribe, hit the alarm so you know when I do these, and give me a thumbs up. I want to get promoted by YouTube. I've been doing this a long time. I've got a lot of people that come and go, but I'd love to have more. So help me out if you can. Not that I'll get paid anything. I don't need any more money. This is for educational purposes only. Anything I talk about is the spirit of education, not investment advice. The intent of the video is to demonstrate the tools, top-down analysis, and how I apply them. Trading involves risk. You are solely responsible. I may own or intend to buy or sell any stock mentioned in this report. Trading stocks and options should be considered risky. You should always consult with your financial advisor before making trades. And hopefully soon we'll release the MetaStock version, which I'm excited, not because it can do things that we can't do with the trading app. I think it'll be very comparable, but because Metastock has data from outside the US, which means a bigger market and opportunity to take what I've done to India and other places. So we shall see. I'm going to extend this to the end of the week on Friday midnight. I actually leave for Barcelona Thursday morning. Not sure how and when I'll do videos when I'm gone. It's a work trip. So I'm going to now change that and I'll honor the price till Friday evening, which is 9/5, I think. No, it can't be 5. Yep, 9/5 midnight. And midnight here, not in Barcelona. Seems that people like that price because I had a lot of interest. 12.95 year one, and the updates will be 4.95. No more than 4.95 at least for year two, unless there's a significant change in data costs. But I've got antidotes for that. My Google group's called Top Down Trader. When it's not on sale at a deep discount, you get a discount from Top Down Trader of $100, and I also give $200 off for if you have my Market Watch, excuse me, my CAT scanner and wealth charts, or my TradeStation app. Give you a little credit for those as well. Love to have more people at my live meeting, October 26th and 27th, Marriott Palm Beach Gardens, 2 packed days of education, software instruction, 1250. I feed you all your meals and coffee and sodas, liquids and snacks all day long on Sunday and Monday, and then you get to go on Stocks and Docks, the yacht, for a dinner cruise on Sunday. It's a nice yacht. It's not a mega yacht. I'm not there yet. Soon. Back to back, there's a meeting with John Person the 24th and 25th. I think they still have some openings. John is outstanding, great teacher. He's a good friend of mine. But I was followed him as a student, bought his tools a long time ago. And if you come to my meeting, I'll give you $400 rebate off my tools. Now, if you already got my tools, I'll give you a $400 rebate off of another tool. I'll give you a discount on the meeting next year that I put on, and it won't expire. So I think it's a good deal, and it's again marketmripro@gmail.com if you have any questions. Earnings and news, there wasn't much after hours today. We got manufacturing. The big news this week, I really think, is going to be jobs, JOLTS, ADP employment, and most important, the monthly employment report on Friday, and those will move the market, guaranteed. Um, On Tuesday, we got Signet Jewelers. I didn't even report it today because I saw they were up a lot. I'm not sure about that. Today is Tuesday. Duh, it's not Monday. So we did have Signet today, Zscaler after hours. A lot more earnings on Wednesday and Thursday. So Tuesday, again, was manufacturing. Sorry about that. I always do this with 4-day weeks. So tomorrow we got the JOLTS, the job openings, and that could be moving. And then I think the market overdid it after Jackson Hole. And it'll be interesting to see if the Fed heads that start speaking tomorrow talk down the markets. It's a judgment call to hold stocks over earnings dates. It's bad judgment to not know when your stock's earnings date is scheduled. Why do I worry about September? I show this over the weekend. Stop the video if you want to look at it. It shows you on the top performance by month, and you can see September is the big negative. How many years it's in, what's the percentage down? 51.4. So it's a 50-50. But look down the list. You don't see any double digit gains in September. And I don't care if you're looking at the S&P 500, the Q's 2.2 down, the Russell 1.7 down, and the diamonds 1.3 down, all down more times than they're up. To me, I pay attention to this, and boy, do I love the last 2 months of the year. Because if you don't know your seasonality at the index level, stop this and look at November and December. Whew, that's why you got to be in the market at the right time. For more information about Market MRI Pro, questions about anything I say, do, or think, marketmripro@gmail.com. I'll respond personally. If you have questions about the product, how it's working, installation issues, coding, and marketmripro.com. And think about joining my group. I'm going to go fast today because I'm doing this really early because I'm actually in a fantasy football team that's been the same team, same group of guys from Atlanta, although we're all dispersed now since about 1995. And we were profiled not too many years ago as one of the longest lasting continuous leagues. And so it's always a big event. We always do it the last possible time. So games are Thursday. We're picking tonight. Um, Here's how the market performed today. So if you want to, here's one for the bulls. Volatility was up, but it closed at the bottom of the range. That takes off the sting, doesn't it? Bitcoin was up and the dollar was up. If you look at the indices, they were down close to 2% at 1.9 down on the Qs, 1.5 on the spiders, 1.3 down on the diamonds, 1.57 on the Russell. They all finished between 0.5% and 0.85. So that can make you feel good and at the upper part of the range. So are we done going down? And were those hammers that say it's time to go long? I don't know. I'll tell you, I talked over the weekend. I said on Friday, I bought a number of contra ETFs. What I bought were, I do those synthetic calls. I buy a call and I sell a put spread with the short put at the same price as the same strike price as the call I bought, and then I protect it underneath. I bought back the short positions on all of them this morning because they'd all dropped in value, and I did, which is good because you're short. You want to sell them for $1, or, $1, $2, and buy them back for 50 cents, and that's what I did. I still have some contras, but my positions to the downside is a lot lower. I made a lot of money today, but some of it I think is luck sometimes. Yes, the contras helped, but what really helped me is I had bought some LABU. Um, I'll show you when I bought the LABU, and I'll come back here. I bought some LABU here, and it really didn't do anything. And I bought a bunch. And LABU at best went sideways. Well, LABU broke out today. Big volume, a CPR, gap, volume breakout, momentum, a massive move in relative strength in OBV. And I was just holding on to about 100 LABU calls. And this is a 3X, so I took some profits there as well. Tomorrow, I'll take heat on my contras if the market goes higher. But as I said, I took profits on a lot of them today. But I'm not convinced we're going higher tomorrow. We might, and we might open up and fade, but we'll see. So let's go back to the daily briefing. If we look over here, new highs minus new lows on the NYSE and the NASDAQ are both positive, off their highs, but that's promising. You look at the S&P 500 sectors and what was up today, um, energy and healthcare, and you look at what was leading from it, groups, clean tech, genomics and biotech. There's my LABU story, renewable energy, biotech, and something is wrong on the clean techs here that this will be fixed on a so we must have an error in the data. I'm not going to take a look at that anymore, but I think directionally it's correct. Doing it early means I'm missing the data correction that comes in when I get done. And more importantly, 23% of the S&P 500 was up, 34 of the NASDAQ, and only 38 of the NYSE. So it was a pretty broad-based negative day. I was watching the Q Edge tool at work, and early on everything was red, so there was nothing up. So clear improvement as the day went on. Timing model, it did flip the spiders to a sell on the daily, so that's a little bit worse. You could see it close back up at the WMA, but was not above it, apparently. It closed at 640.37. The WMA was at 637. Let me get, I gotta get the right, 640.51. So 14 cents away from not triggering. But the bongo triggered. It's now in a sell. The Qs are in a sell. Notice they're open red, which means they're down on the day, but finished near the high, above where they open. So not all bad, but the question is this the beginning of something else worse? Or are we going to get back up and go to new highs tomorrow? It's September, folks. I'm not expecting new highs right away. Could happen. Got to be prepared for that and not over leverage one way or the other. Um, on the weeklies, let's run the data. We're going to see, I would bet that everything is still in a buy. But as we talked about the weeklies over the weekend, they don't count until the end of the week. We have a lot of data in this, and because I like to go back and test things, so we got 25 years plus on some of these indexes, so it takes a while to run it. You can see that we remained in a buy signal on the timing model on the weekly. On the ETFs and the index ETFs, again, I'm not going to go real long today, but you'll see the same candle break here below the 17. Here's the 50, closed at the high of the session, which we could consider bullish close, but we still got bad seasonality. I don't think this is done. If I was a betting person, I don't bet with my money, so I'm being cautious here. We pulled all the way down to the 50 on the Qs. That was my short-term target and bounce. Could we move up a couple of days before we drop again? Yeah, that's what you have. That's what happens here in this sell-off. You rally and you fail. I'm betting that that's what we do. You can still see seasonality is not great here. If we go and we look at the diamonds, we're going to see a similar pattern. The refresh, which pulled back to the 17 and bounced. Are we done? We could be, but you know, I would expect more than one day down. And what I really want to look out for is something like this and something like this. And again, you'll constantly see positive days. So is this a bear trap? I don't think so. Could be. Don't know until we watch more time. If we take a look at the Russell was one of the better things today, but it still closed down, did not get to the 17. Like everything else, it's still sitting in a period of negative seasonality. You'd expect volatility to have gone up today, and as I already showed you, it was up. This is the VIX futures, and they were up a lot, 11.78%. But look at that, it's a shooting star, failed at the 200. You'd expect it to come right down. But wait, it broke above the 50. That could be support, something to watch. If the VIX comes down, we're in good shape. And then what about the dollar? Rates were up today. The dollar was up as well, taking out this line of potential resistance. The dollar was up 0.66. To me, that's not a good thing if you're long this market. Interesting that even with the dollar showing strength, my stock yesterday was GLD, which I had mentioned that I had bought earlier. I had bought GLD on Friday with my Contras, and if I wanted to be mean about myself, I could say even a blind squirrel will catch nuts sometime. But that was the play, kind of a quadruple, 4 times the charm. It broke above on Friday. That's why I was buying and had a gap up close near the high. I took some profits on this today. It had a big move. But look at the volume. A lot of people think it's going much higher. Silver also big move today and breaking out as well. And this was on a strong dollar day. Silver was up 2.65%. Big move, breakouts into free land. Even oil was up some of the issues with China and all of our enemies getting together maybe spooked the oil markets. 2.59. Natural gas was down. And oh, I hate when I do that all the time. I need to get a mouse that's not so sensitive. And if we look at the 10-year and the 30-year, you could see that up here 1.33% and up 1.76 right into that danger area here where the close on the 30-year today is 4.99. When it breaks above 5, I want to be out of this market or short. And I think we're at really risk of that happening. We'll see what the employment, the jolts are. If they come in strong, that'll probably um, make rates go higher. I don't think people expect them to be strong. Buckets do not show a signal. We don't have enough pain in this market to say we bottomed. Of course not. We just started dropping. Market breadth, you're not going to see a Hindenburg without more new high, news lows. They have to be above 2% for both of them. You can see the NYSE actually had a decent close in the upper part of the day, a nice bottoming tail. Does that mean we're done going down? I bet it goes higher tomorrow. Just not sure we're done. Will we stall out before new highs? And then you can see we didn't quite get to the 50 close at the high on the NASDAQ. Looking below, new high, new lows were positive, but the AD lines were negative, and the up-down volume was positive on the NASDAQ and negative on the NYSE. Stocks above the 20, 15, 200 eased a little bit today. Going into my bigger market breadth, you see what happened to our 13-week new high, new low. Are you a believer yet? 0.44 on the Spider, big drop, 0.58 on the NASDAQ. The Russell's been staying up, but it dropped to 0.73 and 0.58. We're no longer oversold. Now we got to look for some positive divergences, or as my buddy John calls it, convergences, to suggest that we're done going down. Um, if I go to the JAS layout, um, and I want to look, at what was moving today, I could go to my top-down view, and you could see with my broader um, picture of 3,900, 3,800 stocks in these sectors, healthcare and energy. So let's just look at those two very quickly. These would be the 10, the top, the industry groups in those two sectors. Let's rank that by today's performance. Let's take the top 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let us now go down here. Let's filter for $3. Or rather for $5 and 500,000 shares. Let's buy things that are above the 200-day moving average. And now let's take a look, and we're down to 166 potentials. Let's rank them by the number of impulse dots, and let's add pullbacks and uptrend. I am filtering the market to try and bring stocks that are heading up that had big moves today. ONC, an oncology stock. This is a new signal that we put in called the Dynamics Systems, giving you a buy here today. B1, it's a great company. It's a Chinese biotech. They've got a great drug for a type of chronic leukemia, a nice pipeline, actually good seasonality, a big move on major volume. If I look up here, what earnings were August 6th, so they weren't today. Next earnings are November. Big number. And we see these are biotech, Cytokinetics, United Therapeutics, Roivant, OMA. These are all biotechs, KNSA. Now, IONS, a muscular dystrophy company. Big moves here. You've got a World Lung Cancer meeting starts this week in Barcelona. That's why I'm going there. So we're going to see a lot of data from biotech companies being presented. That might move the market. Biotech was so oversold, maybe it's rotating back into strength. With I've got position in UUU. I was a little bit surprised to see that uranium wasn't horrible today, but you could see it finished in the middle of its pullback day. So this is one that I like, especially on a pullback. So biotech looks strong. In fact, when I look at this, that's what's dominating the stocks up at the top. The other thing that I do, and I'm very careful, buying in markets that look like today. So I'm not advocating you go out and buy the markets. I think you have to see what the futures are and what's moving. I still think we're going lower short term. Here's my impulse. Let's take out all of them. My secret weapon is to look for price of 5. I don't expect to see any. 2-day momentum up. And what do we get? Domino's Pizza. I guess this is the kind of thing that goes up when people are staying at home when they're unhappy and the economy's bad and they can't afford a steak dinner. Nice move today on Domino's Pizza. Not typically something what I buy. Earnings are not to October. Decent earnings per share growth. Trades at a market multiple, small dividend. That's an expensive stock. Probably hard for most of us to buy much. JOYY. Beautiful chart. Beautiful chart. Uptrend. Here's your cup. Handle and a breakout today. Is it too extended? It's at 92. It's getting there. Massive volume. Here's the two dots in a row. I might be careful on this and set stops, make it trade above the high of the day because it might pull back a little bit short term, but that's a beautiful, beautiful looking chart. And 826 were earnings, and they had a big surprise. No wonder it looks so good. And then MUX is a gold company. Dang, I looked at this weekend. It wouldn't help me because it gapped up, but it just shows you the strength in gold as well. So how did I play it? I played the market today with LABU, and doesn't look like much, but that was a 10% move on options, which are 10 to 1 leveraged. That's why I had a good day. And I also did well with GLD. So be careful out there. I think we still got more volatility. I still like gold. I still like biotech, and I'll see you tomorrow.